spray. It's a triplet, eighth, followed by what's close to a dotted eighth, and then the ANCAP syllable. And so what's interesting about this, though, and what makes it work, is that 5/8 plus 3/8 plus 5/8 plus 3/8 actually equals the 16 eighth notes of a 2-bar 4/4 phrase. So Nas has simultaneously made use of different layers of structure, which makes this a polyrhythm at the same time. And this is another quick example. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'll get through it real quick. This is Kendrick Lamar's Mad City. This is the inconsistently consistent rhythms that I talked about. So you can see he switches back and forth between sextuplets and quintuplets very purposefully because he uses both. And I think this is a fine rhythmic sense that rappers are not often credited with.
All of my skeletons, what you trying to say? What you say, my intelligence now is great relief, and it's safe to say that our next generation maybe can sleep with dreams of being a lawyer, doctor, instead of boy with a chopper. They hold the courts like hostage.
Our final example is Earl Sweatshirt's song from Earl in 2010. Now this is wrapped in noctuplets, and the varying number of subdivisions that he uses, he goes from an eighth note to an eighth note dotted in noctuplets to a 32nd note dotted in noctuplets to a 60th note dotted in noctuplets. Makes me very much wonder what kind of beat Earl Sweatshirt uses. And it reminds me of a quote from Schoenberg in Opinion or Insight when he said, "But the appearance of vagrant chords so greatly widened the field of events accessible from a tonic that to an ever-increasing extent the tonic could merely be proved while it became steadily harder to hear." For me, I substitute in rap the beat for a tonic because that's how hard I think it is to hear it if you just isolate Earl's rhythms. And it makes me think that perhaps he feels some kind of additive rhythm where the base of it is just the smallest possible pronounceable syllable, and he adds those up.
Not one action, casket for laugh at all. With the sticking and mad paddle and track, I'm all 6 different niggas with glass and all. No names, no sums up. What you doing? Nothing much. Wish out some other stuff.
And so this is flow, which is what I've been dancing around, and I'll get through this real quick. This is the definition of flow that I've come up with. It is the syntactical and musical rhythms together of the words that a rapper writes. And they can define it, then it is described in 6 main ways in terms of its rhymes, which can be long, short, external, internal, same order, different order. Note subdivisions, which we've talked about, quintuplets, triplets. Sentences, are they long, short? And articulation, is it staccato or is it legato? And this differs from some other people's definition of flow. I believe it is more specific than Adams in his paper on the metrical techniques of flow when he says, flow encompasses all the way in which a rapper uses rhythm and articulation in his or her lyrical delivery. I believe it is more flexible than Crims's categorization of rappers into 3 categories which could never account for all the finely textured styles we see here. And it is also more specific. Some people equate it with groove or swing in jazz, which is an unspecifiable but ordered sense of something that is sustained in a distinctive, regular, and attractive way. So I believe it is more specific than that. And finally, these are some metrics that I've come up with for measuring flow, where you have sentences per bar, syllables per word, syllables per sentence. So if you want to ask yourself what the approach of someone like MF Doom is to rhyming, you will consider what percent of his syllables are rhymed, and you see that that's very high, 45%. But if you wanted to ask something like, what is Notorious B.I.G.'s approach to sentences, you can see there are 7.2 syllables per sentence, which is on the lowest side for all of these. And so what I imagine next would be an expansion of the accent study that I did, the compilation of a library of rapper stats, which I believe would be helped along greatly by computers and programming, which was already started in the project by Hershey and Brown in their paper on the automatic detection of internal rhymes in rap music. And furthermore, the widespread use of that type of sheet music so that we can change the discussion of rap in music. And if you like this and wanted to learn more about similar topics, you can go to my website, www.rapanalysis.com, such as I have a paper there called the rap voice as an instrument where I do isolate and take into sheet music the isolated melodic information of a rapper's a cappella music. So, and here's the bibliography. Special thanks to Tom Schuhmann, the artist, RapGenius.com, which provided all the lyrics, and the organizers of SCI conference, especially Thomas here. So that's my presentation. Thank you. I think we have a little time for questions. No questions? Then I will wrap this up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very interesting.